Hi, how you guys doing? I'm Kateria, and all right, this podcast will be broadcasted on multiple platforms. However, excuse my voice because I am a little hoarse. I'm not really I'm not going in order of how I have these things already recorded. Some of them I have recorded, some of them I don't have recorded, and I am going straight live because every time I try to record something goes wrong and I cannot edit. All right, so to get to it, Johns and James Island, um, God was telling me November 26th, I'm bringing this on November 26th, 2023. God began to release and reveal how Johns and James Island will be attacked. Okay, that is located in Charleston, South Carolina. All right, and the bayfronts will be the focal points, the piers, and the bayfronts, the piers, and the bridges would be the focal points. All right. At first, I thought I was tripping. I didn't know if it was the present or, if it was the past or the future he was telling me about. And so I want to make this fast. So in January 2024, God began to reveal again, and he started to reveal the deep, deep sorrow that's coming upon the land of James and John's Island in Charleston, South Carolina. Again, a deep, deep sorrow that's coming upon the land of James and John's Island. It was going to be, if I didn't say it, because I feel so funny. If I didn't say it, it was a sneak attack and a siege. Okay, a sneak attack and a siege um, that was coming upon James and John's Island. All right, so from that point, I began to know that this is the future and not the past. Also, what started to happen, the bridges started to fall down, the bridges started to get hit but not crumble. And so I knew that it wasn't by happenstance. I am in June 21st, 2024. Okay, June 21st, 2024. And God was showing that this attack it could happen in June, but I wasn't 100% sure. And for that part, I'm not going into it. Um, but it could be in June. However, um, if it's not, I definitely believe that it will be the beginning, it will be the first attack of America. Oh yes, God was saying by missile strike. All right, by missile strike, and that's just how it's going to be. All right, so Johns and James Island, South Carolina, being attacked, the bridges being attacked by missile strikes, bayfront piers and bridges. And then after God was revealing more about it, April 16th, 2024, he began to explain, God began to show that the war in itself is going to happen on Johns Island, but it's not limited to Johns Island, South Carolina. All right, we still have Staten Island, we still have New York, we still have California, we still have Las Vegas, and God began to show numerous of places in America being attacked, and those would be on different videos. All right. So back to Johns and James Island. And so now we in April 16th, 2024, and he's began to explain how the attack will happen on Johns Island because Johns and James Island is next to each other and they have to choose an island. All right. So how did I get in this conversation with God? Basically, I had these shoes on and I was trying to figure out whose flag I was wearing because I knew that basically China and Russia was teaming up together to war against America, and they would have other countries, coming in to help them, right? So I was like, it'd be smart to know whose flag I'm wearing in this time. So what I did was, you know, I asked my friend, and it was the British. I'm going to pull this up because this is very important. The British would not be attacking us. I had on my Reeboks, and the flag was the British. So, what God began to explain, he started to show me that these people are going to take up the same um, ways that the British did, right? So, when I Googled it, I saw that the British also had a sneak attack and a siege, one article says, on Johns and James Island, and they had many casualties. What is a siege? A siege is what Google says in the dictionary, encircling a body of land. Encircling a body of land that um that the ones that's inside will surrender, but the ones that's inside are actually civilians. So how can civilians surrender unless they fight? The military soldiers aren't surrendering, right? So what Google was trying to be nice about is that it will be prisoners of war that would be created on Johnson James Island. They have to come in with the siege, and then it would be war on that land, and they want to cut off that land from the rest of America. So these islands right here is already cut off from the rest of America. Only the bridges connect them. So that's why they're so significant. And this is why they're different from the other bridges of Baltimore, the New York Bridge from the New York Harbor. Oklahoma Bridge and Valley View Bridge all had incidents with the same type of issues, but their focal point is a government made famine, as well as a siege to where the governments will basically begin to, where the governments or the new governments, I'm sorry, not our governments, but the invaders will eventually begin to take land and take property. All right. So I just want to recap you on some of the videos that I will be posting. All right. Not November, but in 2022, God began to reveal that the United States of America, Homeland Security, is up for sale. All right. And he began to show that different countries will own us. My prophet friend also began to see that the United States of America, some of the states will break away from the United States of America. Excuse my voice. I'm trying to pronounce every word. Some of the some of the states will break away from the United States of America. All right. And it was going to be bad for America because it will weaken America. They would not have ownership anymore. All right. As the words of the Afghanistan people, they called America the great betrayer. And what we have right here is a great betrayer. All right. That is working on the inside of America, which is causing the ultimate defeat of America and for America to be overthrown, because some people still think that we are the land of the great. Yes, we are. But we have a betrayal on the inside that is not allowing and not letting the truth come out. But now that we're closer to the time, they never called the bridges a terrorist attack. They never really had a real explanation to why they allowed all of these all of our allies, immigrants, to come in. Russia and not Russia, because Russian soldiers and civilians was already taken up in the war, so they sent the Chinese, and they sent Islam. All right, so Islam is Syria. Whenever you hear Syria refugees, that's Islam. It's not just Islam, but it's the jihadist groups, and you will see them come on the scene later. So you have to remember that the jihadist groups, no matter what it look like, no matter the smoke screen that's out there, the jihadist groups or Syria refugees, the ones that's current, the ones that just came over in that wave that we had, they will be working on the side with Russia and China. All right. The Taliban has teamed up with Russia. If people do not remember, when the Afghanistan takeover took place, Russia and Taliban began to become very friendly, and Russia began to fund the Taliban, and they exchanged gifts and oils and so on and so forth. So now Taliban is in position to be seen as a government entity, which is very, very, very horrible. And so now we are in the phase of, now we're going to see these people starting to invade and attack America. When the Homeland Security went up for sale, I'm recapping, when the Homeland Security went up for sale, that got exposed in 2022, right? And 2023, the process began when the flood of illegal immigrants came in by the millions, all right, and continued all the way into 2024. God began to say that he is going to weaken the borders of the United States of America because of the innocent killings and the innocent bloodshed of the Black people that was taking place in Africa. Listen, follow me, check out the other videos if I lost you there. All right. So during that time of the illegal immigrants coming in, we in America experienced the first phase of that breach of security that God was talking about. We experienced the first phase of the weakened borders that God was talking about. And so now we are approaching the second phase, which is the violent phase of the weakened borders, as you can see, because now we have New York that's very largely on the map. And I'm going to do another clip because I've been talking a lot. I'm going to do another clip about all the bridges and its significance to um and its significance to this war that is approaching, why they chose these bridges that they chose. All right, so you guys, God is telling his people to get saved, to repent, to repent, and what's the other one? And prepare for what is about to happen. All right, and he's revealing it because just like during the time of the tribe of Issachar, they was in war, and because God gave them forewarning, they was able to defeat their enemies in war. So right now, God is may help the government a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But this is judgment upon America. However, what's happening right now is not is not no fear tactic. It is not no fear being spreaded. If you feel like that, fear is about to hit the land. Fear is about to hit the land. So what I'm talking about may seem scary because fear is about to hit the land. That's not my problem right there. However, why God is releasing this stuff is because just like the tribe of Issachar won the victories, he wants the people of God to be able to win the victories over the military that's going to be seizing your country. So now God is trying to prohibit your life from being destroyed in this process. And he wants the people to repent, and he wants them to get saved because it's something coming, and he wants his people to be prepared and have a heads up. All right. So for the ones who have the ear to hear, and for the ones who have the eyes to see what the Lord is saying and what the Lord is doing, um, be mindful and prepare however the Lord tells you. All right. So this comes with a set of instructions. I'm going to leave it right here. You guys be blessed. I'm going to go into more stuff of what God is talking about. So remember, New York is very important. Cali, Las Vegas, they're very important. Even Texas. But New York right here is more important than anything. So y'all stay tuned. All right. Have a good day.